As we come on air, the Dow's future down 1,000 points. We were told by the president it was Liberation Day. Are you feeling liberated?
No, I may be liberated from anything in a 401k, as millions of Americans will feel that impact, and will be liberated from any chance of having lower prices for things. This is going to be a disaster for our economy. It's going to be a disaster for hardworking families that are going to have to pay more for auto parts or getting their car fixed or, buying groceries or anything else. These other countries, many of whom are our closest allies, are going to retaliate against us. It's just simply going to escalate from here. I talked to farmers out in California who still haven't recovered the market share they lost during the first Trump administration from the ill-fated tariffs then. So this is going to be really disastrous. A massive self-inflicted wound on our economy from a president who campaigned on lowering prices, but is in fact pushing them through the roof.
Senator, you are not the only senator who's been speaking with farmers in your home state. And lest anyone think that these are just Democratic talking points, I want you to take a listen to Senator Thom Tillis talking about what Trump's tariffs are going to mean for farmers in his state of North Carolina.
Anyone who says there may be a little bit of pain before we get things right need to talk about farmers who are one crop away from bankruptcy. They don't have time, so we've got to be crisp on this implementation. Otherwise, we could do damage that's irreparable to farmers.
Crisp on the implementation is one thing. What else are you hearing from your Republican colleagues, their concerns about these tariffs?
Oh, I think their concerns are profound, not just with how much pain is going to be inflicted on their constituents, but what it's going to mean for them politically. We may have a vote shortly by Senator Tim Kaine, that will give Congress a chance to push back against some of these tariffs, particularly those targeting our Canadian neighbors. And I think many of the Republicans are inclined to support it. We'll see how many are actually willing to put their votes where their private comments are. But I think that this is a broadly held view. Certainly, as we've seen before, a lot of Republicans are simply going to fall in line. But with the pain that's going to be resulting from this, they're going to hear an earful from their constituents. It's why so many Republicans are being told, don't have town halls, because people are really unhappy with what they're doing.
Senator, you referenced Donald Trump campaigning on lower prices, and that was certainly one piece of his pitch to voters. He also pitched voters on this idea that America wasn't safe. And so it is striking to me that he has accomplished neither bringing costs down nor actually making this country safer. If anything, to the contrary, his administration has imperiled national security. We're now learning this about Signalgate. It is from Politico that you had National Security Advisor Mike Waltz's team regularly setting up chats on Signal to coordinate official work on issues that included Ukraine, China, Gaza, the Middle East, Africa, Europe. That is according to 4 people who've been personally added to Signal chats. 2 of the people said they have direct knowledge of at least 20 such chats. All 4 said they saw instances of sensitive information being discussed. So, Senator, it was not simply them talking about Yemen, which is dangerous. It was 20 other concurrent chats.
It really is mind-blowing that they were so reckless with our national security to engage in these kind of conversations, many of them using apparently their personal phones, but regardless using a commercial app. We have some very sophisticated adversaries, probably no one as sophisticated in terms of hacking as China. It is hard for me to believe, given the breadth of people that were included just on that Houthi chat, that China hasn't penetrated some of these phones, which means that whatever these conversations were that were going on, China may now be privy to. We have to assume, and I say this as the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee, you have to assume that all of these conversations have been compromised. Now, maybe some of them haven't, but in order to, protect sources and methods, you have to assume the worst, which means that they're going to have to now, if they're doing their jobs, do the painstaking work of going through every source that might have been revealed from these reckless conversations on a commercial app. And what makes this even more adding insult to injury is this was the crowd that relentlessly hounded Hillary Clinton over her emails when what we're seeing here is so far worse than anything that they were complaining about back then. The scope of this, we still don't fully understand.
We began, Senator, by talking about the trade war. That is not the only war that Republicans are waging. You also have this war they are waging against the federal judiciary and justice writ large. You announced today a set of hearings you're going to have next week with fired DOJ officials. What is it you are hoping to learn from them?
Well, today, as you know, we saw the corruption case against the mayor of New York dismissed with prejudice. That means that case can never be brought again. It wasn't dismissed because of a lack of evidence. It was dismissed because the administration tried to engage in a corrupt bargain with the mayor in which it would make the charges go away, at least for a time, if he would do their bidding on unrelated policy matters. The only losers there are the American people. And in the Judiciary Committee, we're not having hearings on any of this, any of these abuses of power. And what happened in New York is just one of many examples. So I'm teaming up with Jamie Raskin. We're doing our own hearing to bring in some of the prosecutors who were fired or had to quit because of these corrupt acts. We're also bringing in a young attorney who left one of the major law firms because the law firms are capitulating to the Trump administration and are also giving in to this campaign of abuse of power and an attack on the rule of law.
Senator, unlike Republican House leadership, you can do math, so I do not need to tell you that in order to actually seek any recourse, to actually hold this administration accountable, that will require senators, Republican senators in your chamber. How do you move past their intransigence on everything from upholding the rule of law to going toe-to-toe publicly with this administration on tariffs that they themselves say are going to hurt their own constituents?
Well, this evening, we're supposed to put their feet to the fire with a vote on the tariffs. And so one of the ways of holding them accountable is forcing them to vote, forcing them to go beyond private expressions or even public expressions of concern, which we've heard all too many. That is Republicans saying, well, I am concerned about the impacts of the tariffs. No, you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to own this. And tonight, they're going to have to own this. And this is one way of holding them accountable, but also shedding a light through these spotlight or shadow hearings like we're going to do on Monday at 3:30. We're going to expose this corruption at the top of the Justice Department for the American people to see. And that's one way also of putting pressure on this administration and pressure on our Republican colleagues to do something about the runaway corruption of this administration.
Senator Adam Schiff of California. Senator, thank you so much for getting us started. Coming up.